Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Yukishi, and if you have kept up with my Twitter at all, which, by the way, I do still have a Twitter, I also have a Blue Sky now. Uh, I made one like a couple of weeks ago. I'm gonna try to start putting them in the comment or in my what's it called, my description, just so people can follow me, and get up to date information on what's going on, or just have an inkling of what I'm doing. But anyway, that's not this kind of video. This kind of video is instead something new I want to do for this year, where once a month, near at the end of the month, so unfortunately it's no longer January, it's February, but I wanted to just talk more anime on this channel, because believe it or not, I do watch anime. So, in January, these are the shows I watched. Tougen Anki, One Piece Vegapunk arc, or Egghead Island arc. My Awkward Senpai, The Stunned Hero and the Assassin Princesses. Sanda, Unlimited Fafnir, and Star Driver. Let's get into talking about these shows. So, the first one, as stated, was Tougen Anki. Now, if you're worried about any kind of spoilers, don't worry, I'm not going to talk major spoilers. I'm just going to try to talk about the basic premise behind the show to the best of my ability without having to use my anime list. So, let's begin. So, Tougen Anki. If you are at all familiar with the mythological story of Momotaro, that is this anime has that to an extent, but not really. It has two different factions. It has the Momotaro faction and the Demon faction, and the Demon faction are the actual quote unquote good guys because they are being hunted and killed by the Momotaro faction. And our main character is part of the demons, but he gets taken in by a Momotaro who retired. But I'm not going to say more than that. He joins a school of other demon kind, and Pseudo gets trained in the way of trying to control his demon powers. And the way these demon powers work is by using your blood, and it's basically personified on your, what's it called? Like, what you like. So, for instance, the main character, he's a big gun nut. So, obviously, his powers stem from guns, which is kind of cool. Every character is different because every character has their own backstory and how things work, so there's that. It's a 24 episode series. It does have a manga, I think. I don't know if it's a manga or a light novel. I'm not going to check. But I would recommend it. It's only got, like, what, a 6.8 on Mal since last I checked, but it's still a good show. I liked it. Now, One Piece. Let's talk about that. Egghead Island. I wanted to wait until Egghead was finished, and it recently did, so I binged the ever-loving shit out of it. And I'm not going to say anything about Egghead. I am just going to say, however, that this arc kind of felt pointless. So, it gave a backstory to a character, and I feel like this character's backstory was only cultivated just now because of what happened with the big thing in Wano. If you know the big thing that happened in Wano, you know. I'm going to try to avoid spoilers with that to the best of my ability, in case you haven't caught up with One Piece. But if you know, you know, and please don't say what you know. But I feel like that character's I could be totally wrong on this, because I don't know if this character's backstory was foreshadowed at any point in time. I'm not talking about the pirate, I'm talking about the robot. So I feel like this arc was... I feel like this arc didn't really need to exist, because it doesn't fully accomplish anything. Really. It's just set up to the next arc, which could also be just nonsense that didn't need to really happen, but who knows. I don't read the One Piece manga, so I have no idea what's going to happen in Elbaf, which is the next arc that's happening after. But it's probably going to be a big important one because one character has pseudo heavy ties to Elbaf, so there's that. And I was very confused with the pacing too, because at one point, we deal with the Straw Hats and what they're going through. But then we get a sudden break in the flow of the story where we focus on the Navy instead. And I'm like, what's happening here? Why are we focusing on the Navy and not the Straw Hat crew? What's going on? And then, when we go back to the Straw Hat crew, a character's voice changes. I'm like, oh, that's not your voice actor. Wait, what happened? And then I looked up and, oh, your previous voice actor had to step down because of health reasons. I think, anyway. I think that's what I saw. Like, oh, that explains everything. That explains the weird pacing issue for this. Okay, interesting. So there is that. But other than that, Vegapunk was just an okay arc, I feel. Did it really need to exist? No. Did the lore of the character really matter a whole bunch? Not really, especially given the fact that we just now got confirmation about the big thing that happened in Wano. I don't understand why they had to tie it into this character's story. It just feels like one big coincidence. But if, because Oda being Oda, it could have very well been set up since that character's debut. But I'm not 100% certain, so whatever. Now, onward to my Awkward Senpai. Oh, and Vegapunk Island, or Egghead Island arc, lasted 70 episodes. So, my Awkward Senpai. It's basically just another rom-com set in an office, or office work, but this time the office work is based on a video game stuff. And that's new and different. Not only that, but the main character doesn't actually look like a generic piece of shit. Like, the characters actually look decent, and, they don't look like a typical, I'm going to self-insert myself into this character to, waifu this cute character up. No. But, My Awkward Senpai was a good show, I will say. A lot of these shows, because you have, My Senpai is Annoying, where, Fubuki, I think her name is, Futaba? I just know her name begins with Fu. She's very tiny, and her senpai is this big honkin' meat man, by which I mean he's well built. And then you have my tiny senpai, where it's the inverse, where the senpai is a small woman, and she's cute. You also have my cool female colleague, etc., like those kind of shows, where you have a gimmick girl, where she's got a gimmick to her, and then you have the main character who's very kind, very nice, generic male fantasy, to an extent. Good show. It was cute. I liked it. Moving on. The Stunned Hero and the Assassin Princesses. Oh, My Awkward Senpai is 12 episodes long. The Stunned Hero and the Assassin Princesses. As I just name dropped. I'm just curious as to why the hell, the other two princesses are trying to go after and kill this hero character. So, the premise of the show is you have a demon princess gets contracted by her own father to kill this hero. You then have an assassin who uses a sniper to pretend to be a priest and kill this hero. Because she gets a contract from these two no-name jobbers. And then you have a dominatrix character who gets contracted to make this hero her dog, basically. I do not know, like, I hope, the reason gets shown, or told, why the, contractors contracted this assassin, and why the dominatrix was told to get this guy as well. Is it purely just because he's basically One Punch Man in terms of his strength? Because he's very strong, and they fear his strength? Or is it because of some other deep-rooted issue? That's my only problem with the show, but the show is fine. They eventually do, because, let's be real here, it is a harem, and as harems tend to be, they all fall in love with the guy in one way or another, because he's, token male character, but whatever. Good show. It's a good fantasy. I like the twist near the end, near episode 9/10. I thought that was cool. Yeah, good show. If you like fantasy, you'll probably like it, maybe. Next up is Sanda. So, to be honest, the only reason why I watched this show to begin with was I check on my anime list often for seasonal shows, and I kept seeing Sanda in it, and I'm like, huh, that dude in the red outfit just looks like the fat guy from My Hero Academia. Um, I'll put a picture up on screen who I'm talking about. He reminds me of him. Um, so I was not at all expecting what the show is actually about, because I don't really read the summary for some shows. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I was not expecting this, to be honest, and I'm not going to say much about it, and I hope that if you are remotely interested in watching it, you don't check out the summary either. You just go based off of what you see on the what I show on the screen. Uh, Very interesting show. I'll say that. Uh, Definitely better to watch in the winter season. I'll say that as well. But yeah, nothing to say much than that. It's just I can't really talk about it much without trying to spoil anything, and I'm trying to be careful with my words because again, I don't really want to spoil much. But yes, the show is named after the main character. So anyway, next up, Unlimited Fafnir, another 12-episode show that I watched this month or this past month. So I occasionally tune into Trash Taste, which is a podcast by Giguk, Cdog VA, and The Anime Man, Joey, Connor, and Garn. And the past episode that, as of recording, that I watched was they rated their fans 3x3. And one of the viewers had Fafnir Exodus. Now, when I looked up that show on my anime list, Unlimited Fafnir came up instead, slash I accidentally clicked on Unlimited Fafnir first. Uh, Oops. But I still ended up watching the entire thing. Okay, so Unlimited Fafnir is a light novel, or based on a light novel, and it's another one of those shows where a male character goes to an all-girls school, and the girls are integral to the plot because of course they are. But this time, they have tattoos on their body, and those tattoos glow whenever a quote-unquote dragon is nearby. And I didn't fully understand the concept or why it happens, but if the dragon consumes the girl, then the girl gets turned into a dragon herself. But what's the point of that? And why is this a thing that happens? See, you would think that if the girl gets consumed, because you would think, right? The dragon wants to consume the girl because the girl is the second half of that dragon. And in order to feel whole, the dragon needs to consume its other half. And when it becomes full, it becomes a new entity entirely. Like, that half form is a larvae, and it's trying to get its better half to try and be complete. You would think that's the reason. Not really, no. So I didn't fully understand slash pay attention much to the reason behind everything, but the show was okay. If you like harem, you might like it. The main character is voiced by Kirito from Sword Art Online. So if you like it, you'll like it. If you don't, then just drop it. Next up, and finally, for the last show I watched in January, Star Driver, an actual mecha show. Star Driver is very interesting, and I'm not going to say much because, again, spoilers. But in episode 1, main character gets washed up on a beach. He gets saved by his two of his new friends, and hijinks ensue, where it's a I don't like to say monster of the week anymore. I like to say a problem of the week, because most shows will have that, but some shows will have that problem of the week extend to 2 episodes or even 3 episodes. But it's just a problem of the week kind of show, where this character gets fully introduced, the main character fights him, and then or that character does get shown off again, but that character doesn't fight the main character again, pretty much. Uh, it is a very older show, so good luck trying to find it, but it is a good show, and it's a good mecha. And it's definitely more of a character-driven show than a story-driven show. Excuse me. So if you like that, you'll like Star Driver. But yeah, that is everything I watched in January. So in total, that is 7 shows, technically. with 167 episodes in total that I watched. I am a freak of nature. Kind of, not really. So, in February, I would like to watch more. And I plan on making this month, uh, actually watching Fafnir Exodus. I'm gonna write that wrong. So, expect that in what I watched in February's video. But I think that'll about do it for me. So, what shows did you watch in January? Notice how I said shows, not anime. And notice how the title of the video is shows, not anime. Granted, I only watched anime this month, or this past month, so that's because I might be watching other stuff as well. I'm not going to include shows like Digimon Beat Break or Kamen Rider Zets in this because those are releasing weekly, and I'm not going to bring up what happened in those episodes because I'd rather wait in general. But anyway, so yeah, because I might be watching just live action shows or cartoons during these months. So that's why I'm saying shows and the title and not just anime, because I could be watching more than just anime. But anyway, I think with that about does it for me. So, I've been Rikishi, and until next time, bye.